Hey everyone, it's Astro again. As some of you guys might know, me and my wife have lived and traveled in our van for almost 2.5 years. And I have another YouTube channel where I go live a few times a week. And a pretty common question that we get is if there's been anything scary that happened to us, and what are the scariest things that ever happened to us. And I'll usually tell you guys a story about maybe the very first time we started van life. There was someone creeping around our van, trying to look inside. That was a bit creepy. And there's been a few other times where in the middle of the night, like midnight, people pull up directly right next to our van. That's kind of weird too. And you have to ask them like if there's a problem and they got to leave, stuff like that. Today, we actually had the scariest thing that ever happened to us happen right here in Crownland. Now, before I say what I'm going to say, I have no issue with hunters. I might even consider hunting one day too because, food's getting expensive out here. But I have no issue with hunters. You just got to do it right. And you can't do what happened today. So we were parked exactly where we're parked right here. And an ATV rolled from there, stopped right about here. And I don't know how young this woman was. She seemed kind of young, but she pulled out of the passenger side. She came right up against here and she walked along the edge here and stood more or less exactly where I'm standing at right now with my camouflage Crocs. You could barely see them. I'm pretty much floating here. And she stood here and took aim. I was sitting in the van looking towards the back of the van so I could actually see her standing right here, and she took aim towards that direction to a point that I told my wife, is she aiming right at us? And just as I say that, you hear the shot go off and I kind of like just duck. I mean, if it was coming towards us, it's coming towards us, but she was like that. And I know it happened like that because even though I moved a little bit as the shot fired, I saw right. It couldn't have been more that way. At most right here, but it came from this little area here, a bird that flew off. And that's the bird that she was trying to shoot, because then she still walked in here into the woods to try to see if she hit it and maybe she damaged enough that she could finish it off or collect it or whatever. It's hard for you to tell exactly what the angle is, but from here to there, I'm not even sure if that's 20 degrees. That's maybe 15 degrees. So I'm sorry. I got your plates. I reported you. You can't be doing that. First of all, I looked up the rules. I don't even think you should be doing that. I think you have to walk off the road and go into the woods and do your hunting in there. You can't be shooting from across the road or along the road, to my knowledge. All right? I'll be sure to ask some of my hunting friends when I go live again, because we get a couple of hunters that show up in the live streams every now and then. But right here, right next to this orangish, reddish tree, right here is where I saw that bird fly out of. And she was standing right there. That's crazy. And what sucks even worse, what makes it even worse is that the man that was driving the ATV, he hopped out because another ATV came from behind, and they spoke for like about 30 seconds or so after the shot was fired. And after they spoke to the people from the other ATV, the man now turns to the young woman. I don't know, she looked kind of young. I didn't really get a good look at her. But you can tell he kind of like, let me say, I don't know if you guys can see me or not, but he points towards the van. He's talking to her and he points towards the van, and she just goes, she looks towards the van, she looks at him and she kind of shrugged it off. That didn't sit well with me, so I reported it. Did not like that. If you're a hunter, I respect you. I have no issue with you hunting. I know we are out here in Crownland where you can hunt. I've seen another guy pull up just a little bit further down last week it was, and he exited the ATV, walked into there, and then I heard a couple of shots fired, and I saw him come out with a big bird. I don't know what kind of bird it was. I'm not a bird identifier, but he walked out with a bird. He looked all happy. He was holding it, showing the lady he was with, maybe his girlfriend, his wife, I don't know. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But when you're shooting right there, and there's a van right there, guys, it doesn't matter where you are on this road. The second that they turned in, the whole way in, it's pretty straight. You can see that there's a van there. And if you're not being cautious, if you're not being safe, then I'm sorry, you don't deserve to hunt. That's when I lose respect for you. So the good hunters out there, keep doing the good things, keep hunting safely. But the bad ones out there, you shouldn't be doing that. That is unsafe as hell. So today became officially the scariest day of van life for us, because that was pretty scary. That was pretty scary. Some of you guys are probably going to be like, wow, what a baby, what a baby. And someone's standing there pointing a gun like this. You're not gonna be very happy either. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.